Hi everybody, my name is Ambika and in today's lecture we will going to discuss about past tense. This was the grammars, I hope the difficultest topic if the word exists by any chance. I was super scared when I was in school at least. But post that when I moved to, the other phase of my life and I started writing, reading, that time this topic became kind of easy for me. So with my own understanding, I have like jot down certain points which are going to help you in understanding this point in detail, this topic in detail. All right, so let's get started. But before that, I want to tell each one of you about Unacademy. I have been talking about this app in almost all of my videos, right? And I am like super enjoying this phase of mine wherein working with Unacademy because herein I have got many students like across the country, right? And they are there and meeting different people. Along with that, the only objective of this app is teaching, right? So herein, if you are a student, then you will going to feel super let's just say privileged and lucky that you will going to understand, let's just say one topic from so many teachers, right? So if you're not fine with one of the teachers, you can switch to another. That is like totally your call. But for one subject, there are like so many educators there, and you can find all sort of doubt lectures, those MCQ questions, like all detailed questions. You can sit with your like virtually, you can sit with your educator and you can solve them. Right? There are like so many positive points about an academy. So do download this app, and if you want to get a discount over the subscription of it, so you can use my code that is AMBIKA. All right. With that, let's get started with the topic past tense. Now, first of all, we will going to talk about simple past tense. The simple past is a verb tense that is used to talk about things that happened or existed before now. So whatever has happened, while at least speaking, whatever has happened before it, that all will be called as past tense. Now, completed action in the past. If you will going to see, I've tried to make a diagram there. I hope I was I think I'm clear enough, and it's pretty understandable, I hope. So herein in the center we have like a demarcation for present, and here in the extreme left we have past. So we use the simple past to express the idea that an action started and finished at a specific time in the past. Something happened, it started and it ended, it finished itself, एक action start हुआ और वो खत्म भी past में ही हो गया. Sometimes the speaker may not actually mention the specific time, but they do not have any specific time in mind, maybe. So sometimes maybe the speaker doesn't know the time, or in fact, they're not, they think that the time is not relevant for anybody to know. That is why they haven't told it, right? So, but the point is the action started and ended in the past. I saw a movie yesterday. So herein, although the speaker wanted to tell you like when did he or she watch the movie. So herein he or she has mentioned yesterday, right? She washed her car. Herein we have no time like at what particular day or time of the day she started doing it. So the activity started in the past and it ended itself in the past. Like watching the movie and washing up the car, these two parts are being done and dusted in the past. Now, a series of completed actions. So a lot of actions took place, but the point is they ended itself in the past. काफी सारे actions तो हुए और वो सब actions past में ही खत्म हो गए. We use the simple past to list a series of completed actions in the past. These actions happen first, second, third, fourth, and so on. So, first of all, I finished my work, walked to the park, and found a nice place to sit. So, first action was that I finished my work. After that, I walked to the park. Third was I found a nice place to sit. So all these activities started in the past, right? First action was finishing up with the work. Second was walking up to the park, and third was found a nice place to sit to get comfortable, right? He arrived from the station at 8, checked into a hotel at 9, and met the others at 10. So this action took place. First of all, which action? That he arrived from the station at 8, he checked into the hotel at 9, and after that he met others at 10. So all these activities started in the past. सीरीज में स्टार्ट हुआ और वो वहीं पर it ended also. Alright. Now next is duration in the past. So the simple past can be used with a duration which starts and stops in the past. So हमें जब ये पता है, this we already know that it started and ended itself in the past. A duration is a longer action which indicated by expressions such as for 2 years, for 5 years, like all day, all year, for 5 minutes. So it is talking about a duration. हम एक ड्यूरेशन की बात के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, बट पॉइंट वही है दैट एक्शन स्टार्ट हुआ और वही कुछ सालों बाद, लेटर से कुछ महीने बाद, कुछ दिन बाद या कुछ घंटों पहले या 5 मिनट पहले भी वो खत्म हो चुका है. Shipra studied Japanese for 5 years. So Shipra started studying Japanese 5 years ago, and let's just say she is done with it, right? 5 years talks about the duration of time. They sat at the bed at the beach all day, right? So they were sitting at the beach all day. But both the activities are they have ended themselves in the past itself. Habits in the past. Okay, so when we talk about habits in the past, it simply means that maybe ages back or years back you used to do something, right? Although with habits, with hobbies, if you are still following it, if you still have that hobby or that habit, you will going to use simple present tense. For example, I have a habit of checking my phone before going to sleep, right? So this is something which I do in the present time also. I check my phone before I go to sleep. This is a simple, clear example of simple present tense. But for example, I tell you an incident, and like I had a habit when I was a child. So that habit you will going to speak definitely in the past tense. The simple past can also be used to describe a habit which stopped in the past. It can have the same meaning as you. To make it clear that we are talking about a habit, often add expressions such as always, often, usually, never, when I was a child, when I was younger, right? Now, he did play the violin or he did play the piano. So this is something which he used to do, let's just say when he was a child. But maybe because of more work, maybe because of some other commitments in life, he has stopped doing it, right? She worked at the library after school. She was working there in the library, maybe because that was like her part-time job. She wanted to do that job. I mean, that was something which she used to do in the past. That was her past habit or past activity, right? Which took place, let's just say, ages or years back. Now, past facts or generalizations. Although no such thing can be called as past facts because facts are facts, but those things are no, they are not there anymore in the present time. I mean, maybe they do not exist anymore. So that is why I have used the word past facts. The simple past can also be used to describe past facts or generalizations which are no longer true. No longer true as in because they do not even exist now. In that scenario, it is no longer. She was an extrovert as a child, but now she is very introvert, right? So this is something, this is like a general um, idea about her own self when she was a child, but when she turned into an adult, she became more of an introvert. People paid much to make cell phone calls in the past. So in fact, when you used to, if you want to make phone calls like few years back, let's just go back to maybe like 12 or no, not 12, maybe 20 years back. So you used to pay money, right, to make even phone calls. If you're actually picking up also, that time also, if I'm not wrong, it used to charge us money. Right? So, you remember those pager or those city mobile phones. So only those things are not in use anymore. So if you're talking about those things, you have to use simple past tense. Now, past simple questions and negative. We use did to make questions with the past simple. Did you live abroad? When did you meet your wife? Where did you go for your vacation? But questions with who don't use did. But जब questions आपकी who के साथ start हो रहे हैं, so you do not say who did do it. That is grammatically wrong. Right? Who discovered electricity? Who wrote Hamlet? So Hamlet is like a beautiful tragic drama which was written by William Shakespeare. Another important thing is that अभी आपको पता चल गया कि with who you are not supposed to use did, right? Second thing is with did we always like please keep this in mind that you have to use the first form of the verb, the base form of any of the verbs. For example, did you live abroad? Right? Did you live? We cannot say did you lived abroad. When did you met your wife is completely wrong. It is supposed to be when did you meet your wife, right? Now, past tense versus present perfect tense. I mean, this is something which used to trouble me a lot when I was in school because I used to get super confused with these two. But yeah, okay, let's comprehend it and let's understand in detail like how I can. Now, present perfect talks about unfinished actions that started in the past and continue to the present. So present perfect talks about unfinished action, like something which is there, which took place, and that action is still there. That action has not stopped. That action has not stopped, right? Although that the activity started taking place in the past, but still it's there in the present. For example, I have known Sam for 12 years. So I have known Sam to know Sam for 12 long years and you still know him. Maybe you started knowing him back like with 12 years back, but you still know him, right? So something which is still there, you are going to use I have known Sam for 12 years. Now, with simple past. Simple past simply talks about finished action, right? I knew Sam 10 years ago. Is I knew Sam 10 years ago. So right now you don't know who Sam is. I mean, you know him, but then there is no recollection of the memory of Sam because when you were in school, maybe you guys were classmates, but you are not now, right? And after school, you did not even meet him, right? That is why I knew Sam 10 years ago, but I don't know him now. Present perfect. Finish action in someone's life. So when the person is still alive and we are talking about that person's life experience, this is like something which you need to keep in mind. For example, my brother has been to Ladakh 2 times. My brother is still alive. Although we are talking about like till the time, for the present time, but still, he's still alive and he might go to Ladakh again. So अभी तक वो 2 बार गया है, but this boy is still alive. So he might go in future, right? Although ये action finish हो चुका है, but he is still alive. He might go again. But with simple past, a finished action in someone's life when the person is dead. So it talks about a finished action. Action था वो खत्म हो चुका है because the same person cannot do it again because that person is no more, right? That person is not alive. My grandfather went to Ladakh 3 times. So we are supposed to use went here, right? Present perfect tense. A finished action with a result in the present. So you are talking about an action which happened in the past, but uska result is still there in the present. I have lost my keys, and because of which I'm like super annoyed. Okay, so this activity like losing up with the keys happened, but then you are annoyed, you're affected by it. Next is a finished action with no result in the present. You're talking about an action which has no result in the present. I have lost my keys yesterday and it was terrible. So feeling terrible about it and losing up the keys yesterday, those two things have already ended up in the past. Alright? Now present perfect. I have seen John 3 times this week. So let's just say you are telling me about John that you met him 3 times this week. So अभी तक आप उससे let's just say it's Saturday. Okay? So अभी this week needs one more day to end, right? So you might meet him the next day also. So we have used here, I have met John 3 times this week, right? There are still possibility, there are still chances that you will going to meet John again. I saw John this week, right? So you saw John. आपने John को देखा था इस week, but अब कोई chance नहीं है that you will going to meet him again because this week is over, right? So when we talk about such things, I mean, for example, like कोई भी month के end की बात हो रही है, year के end की बारे में बात हो रही है, day के end के बारे में बात हो रही है, all those cases you will going to use simple past tense. But if you think अगर आप इस context में बात कर रहे हैं that it will going to happen again because अभी वो वाला phase बचा हुआ है, you will going to use present perfect tense in that. Now past continuous tense. The past continuous, also called as past progressive, is a verb tense which is used to show that an ongoing past action was happening at a specific moment of interruption or that two ongoing actions were happening at the same time. Okay, so first of all, the format or the form of past continuous tense is something like this: was or were plus present participle. Right? It is was or were plus present participle. And with questions, you have to insert was or were with the subject. Now, negatives में हमें not का use करना होगा. If you're making a statement, you will be like, you were studying when she called. So you were studying, right? Question, were you studying when she called? Right? You are asking. Negative, you were not studying when she called. Alright. Now, past continuous uses. Interrupted action in the past. So something, I mean, you were doing something and, there was some interruption. Okay. We use the past continuous to indicate that a longer action in the past was interrupted. So a longer action was interrupted in the past. और एक वो छोटे action की वजह से हुआ है. Right? So you were doing something I mean, there was an action which was going on, and because of which, right, that action was interrupted by a smaller action. Remember, this can be a real interruption or just an interruption in time. Now, while we were having the party, it started to rain. It says when we were having the party, it started to rain. The longer action, जो ज़्यादा देर तक हो रहा है, which action is that? It is that you guys were having the party. Smaller action in a way that what interruption took place? What interrupted? It was the rain. So that is why we have used here it started to rain. Right? Simple past tense use hoga for shorter action. I was listening to music, so I didn't hear the bell. So I was listening to music. I was maybe listening to an iPod, to like I was using my earphones, whatever. And because of which I didn't hear, not heard, okay? I didn't hear the bell. And because of which I wasn't able to hear the bell. Alright. Now, specific time as an interruption. Now, in use 1 described above, the past continuous is interrupted by a shorter action in the simple past. अभी तक हमने जो भी activities देखी, it started to rain, I didn't hear the bell, ये सब हमने shorter action को किस में use किया है? Simple past tense में. However, you can also use a specific time as an interruption. On the other way, the other side of the story is that we can use a specific time as an interruption. So at midnight, we were still driving through the desert. So you are talking about midnight, right? आपने एक specific time clear कर दिया है. Yesterday, at this time, I was sitting at my desk at work. Alright, so kal is time pe I was sitting at my desk at work. Right? In the simple past, a specific time is used to show when an action began or finished. हम simple past में ये show करते हैं that when did the action start and when did it end. In past continuous, a specific time only interrupts the action. But past continuous में क्या होता है, एक activity हो रही थी but उसमें एक interruption आ गया है. तो जो interruption आया उसके लिए हम use कर रहे हैं simple past tense. Right? Last morning at 10 a.m. I ate breakfast. Last morning at 10 a.m. I ate breakfast. So I started eating at 10. मैंने खाना खाना start कर दिया था exactly at 10. Last morning at 10 a.m. I was eating breakfast. So last morning at 10 a.m. what I was doing? I was eating my breakfast. Now in the second example, in the second scenario, what we have checked out is that I started with my breakfast pretty early. And when you are talking about time that is 10, I was in the process of eating that breakfast. All right, with parallel action. So when you use the past continuous with two actions in the same sentence, it expresses the idea that both actions were happening at the same time. The actions are parallel. So let's just say कोई भी दो activities हो रही है और वो दोनों ही they are acting parallel. एक ही time पे two activities are taking place. Okay. Simple example. Were you writing when she was dictating? Right? It's a very simple and clear example that were you writing while she was dictating? So two things were happening parallelly, right? I was paying attention while I was writing the essay. So I made several mistakes. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't very careful enough while writing the essay. That is why I made multiple mistakes, right? Now, with atmosphere. So in English, we often use a series of parallel actions to describe the atmosphere at a particular time in the past. For example, a lot of activity are taking place in this particular situation. When I walked into the park, when you're beginning with, अगर आप बहुत सारे actions के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, like there are series of actions. The first one will be in simple past, like when I walked into the park. Several people walked is in simple past. Several people were busily walking. Some were talking on the phone. The man was reading a book and dogs were barking. Others were enjoying and were sitting on the bench. So many activities are taking place. So in all of it, what did we do? We used the past continuous tense. Now, past perfect and past perfect continuous tense. First of all, we will discuss past perfect tense. इसका फॉर्मेट क्या है, ये फॉर्म कैसे होता है? Had plus past participle, right? But with present it was have or has. We had walked to court. You had watched the football match. They had scored the match. Now, it is used to refer to an action at a time earlier than a time in the past already referred to. So basically, ये use किया जाता है to refer to an action at a time earlier, right? Then a time in the past already referred to. The past perfect tense expresses action in the past before another action in the past. तो एक activity हुई, वो past में हुई और हम जो past perfect tense use कर रहे हैं, so in fact इस activity से पहले भी एक activity हो चुकी है, right? For example, this is like a let's just say a line wherein this from here till here we have past. So this is past 1, this is past 2. तो हम past 2 से बात करना start कर रहे हैं और हम past 2 से बात कर रहे हैं past 1 की. Okay, let's not make it complex. Okay, the word is derived from Latin plus quam perfectum. Perfectum का मतलब है which means like more than perfect. और in English grammar, perfect का मतलब है state of completed, like this completion of any of the action. आप कभी भी present perfect tense पढ़ रहे हैं, past perfect पढ़ रहे हैं, perfect continuous, whatever you're reading. In grammar, it simply means state of completion. Now, a finished action before a second point in the past. So two activities हो रही थी. Let's just say past one, past two. तो हम जब had का use करेंगे, we will going to use it past one. It is used to make it clear which action happened first. और हम इसका simply objective ये है that we are trying to tell that which action actually took place first. Maybe we are already talking about something in the past and we want to mention something else that is further back in time. So the only intention is that हम already past की बात कर रहे हैं, but हमें और ज़्यादा clear करना है कि उसके पहले क्या हुआ था. We will going to use past perfect tense. Now, I had eaten lunch, so I wasn't hungry. Two activities took place. I was not hungry. Why? Because I had lunch, right? I mean, I was not hungry that time because usse pehle I had my lunch. It had snowed in the night, so the plane didn't arrive. So, plane wasn't able to reach to the destination because it snowed. It had snowed. तो कल रात को plane क्यों नहीं आया? Because maybe उससे कुछ देर पहले से it started snowing. So it had snowed in the night, so the plane didn't arrive. To talk about unreal or imaginary things in the past. It is used with words such as hope, expect, think, mean, suppose, want, etc. to suggest that an expected past did not take place. To simply suggest that जैसे आपने imagine किया था, maybe वो हो नहीं पाया. So that is why you have used words like expect, hope, think, mean, suppose, want, right? If I had known you were ill, I would have visited you. So I didn't visit you. The first activity was okay. For example, when we try to explain something, like I wasn't able to do my homework because, and you are giving the reason, right? Similarly, I would have visited you, but I never knew you were ill. She would have passed the exam if she had studied harder. Like you're just simply expecting it, you're just simply hoping it, right? Now, past perfect continuous tense. The past perfect continuous, also called as past perfect progressive, is a verb tense which is used to show that an action started in the past and continued up to another point in the past. Now, the form of it. So, it is had plus been plus present participle. Right? Statement में हम कैसे use करेंगे? You had been waiting there for more than 2 hours when she finally arrived. Had you been waiting there for more than 2 hours when she finally arrived? You had not been waiting there for more than 2 hours when she finally arrived. Now, duration before something in the past, right? We use the past perfect continuous to show that something started in the past and continued up until another time in the past. Something started in the past और वो continue होता गया एक next time तक which also was part of the past time. Let's just say for 5 minutes or for 2 weeks. They had been talking for over an hour before I arrived. So you arrived in the past or उससे भी पहले they had been talking. So both the activities were there in the past. She had been working at that store for 3 years when it went out of business. So she had been working there 3 साल पहले तक भी when it went out of business, right? Now cause of something in the past. Using the past perfect continuous before another action in the past is a good way to show cause and effect. Now, Jack was tired. Now, why Jack was tired? Because he had been skipping. Jack was tired. He was, like, just say, tired 10 minutes back. Why? Because before that, he was skipping. Luke gained weight because he had been overeating. Luke has gained weight. Like this is the end result. But why it actually happened to him? Because he had been over. So that was all about the past tense. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, the slide, right? And if you have any doubts, still, if you have any doubts, you can write in the comment section. Along with that, as I have already told you, that please enroll yourself to Unacademy, and in that you can use my code, that is AMBIKA. With this, I'm signing off. Please take good care of yourself.